What up, dogs? Steve here, and here it is. This is gonna be a long ass vlog video thingy, I guess. I'm not gonna try not to kick the table. I'm sitting in my kitchen because the light was pretty good here. Sometimes I don't feel like making a vlog when it's nighttime because it feels like, I don't know, it just feels weird. So now I'm doing it in the day here. So this video, hopefully you guys have you guys have been asking for it. So this video is about having a stoma and having Crohn's, which is an inflammatory bowel disease. So to explain it, your white blood cells kind of get like crazy and they start attacking your own colons and your own like inside. I'm not sure if slemhinna is the word in Swedish, which is like, it just sounds disgusting. I always think about that, I don't know, dirty stuff when I hear that word. So on April last year I got a stoma, and I'm just gonna tell you guys the entire story basically until it led up to that. I gotten rid of it now, so I'm pretty happy, but there's also a lot of like things still lingering in my mind about that. So when I was 14 I got Crohn's, which is the disease, and it has been a little bit up and down. Sometimes I've been feeling, good, but it was a couple of years, especially when I was younger. It was like it was a really tough things that were happening. And I'm just like, did I see a spider or something? I don't know. I remember, when I was 14 during the summer of that, I was having, constant diarrhea. I was losing a lot of weight, and, my mom and dad didn't really know what was going on, but after a while, when I was starting to get stomach pains, they took me to see a doctor, and thank God they did that, because, some people that have Crohn's, that when they just go on like 1 or 2 years without getting a diagnosis. So I went to the doctors, they took some blood samples, and they were like, oh, we're gonna see what it happens, but they said like, oh, it could be this thing called Crohn's or ulcerous colitis, and I was like, I don't know what that is. I was 14. I didn't know anything about anything basically, and I remember like maybe a couple of days later, I came home from school, and I can tell on my mom's face that there was something wrong, and she was sad. That's the only way to explain it. And she told me that they had found like the blood samples were showing something that they were suspecting might be Crohn's. And I was like, okay. And you gotta understand that my parents are really great, but the way that my mom said it, I knew that it was like serious. I went into my room and I cried. And I mean, my mom came in and, comforted me after a while, but I'm from the north of Sweden. You're not really supposed to cry, but I was 14, so. And then followed, a couple of years where sometimes I was really healthy, and sometimes I was just like struggling basically to stay alive, but I was just, repressing so much shit. Like I learned now by going into therapy, which I think is something that everyone should do, that the doctors probably didn't treat me, as they should, because they were just like people with authority that I was not really respecting at all, basically. So when I think I was 23, I was starting to get a little like pains in my left side of my colon, and that's, being younger, I had like tube feeding. I put a tube every day for 1.5 years down to my stomach into my nose, and I swallowed it down during the nights. And in the morning my mom came and she helped me take it out, and that sucks so much balls. I can't believe that 16-year-old Tobias managed to do that. I could never do that now. And for 1.5 years I swallowed a fucking tube down to my stomach. And then I got older, and when I was, over like my 20s, I was like, oh, probably this Crohn's thing is probably, it's probably pretty chill now. And, I had Remicade, which is an antibodies treatment that attacks basically your white blood cells and it made me real healthy. And now I'm on a thing called Humira, which is basically the same thing, which is really great for me and Crohn's. And then when I was I think I was 23, I started to feel like a pain in the right side of my colon, my tjocktarm, and I was kind of ignoring it. I was just like, no, he's probably gonna pass. I remember, being in Stockholm one weekend. I was just treating my body like shit at this time as well. I was partying a lot. I was drinking a lot. I was not sleeping as I should have been and everything. And I will get to that actually later. But then I got the massive pain in my side. I think I had oatmeal, which is full of fibers that had just attached itself basically to me inside and was like tearing me apart. So I was in Stockholm. I just wanted to go back to the north of Sweden to this hospital, which I knew I had to go. Like I was seriously worried that my colon was gonna burst and I was like gonna die. During the air, like on the flight, I was like, yeah, I'm probably gonna die on this flight because the flight attendants probably don't even know what's gonna happen. I will pass out because the pain. I was sitting in like agonizing pain. So I went to the hospital. The first thing I did. And they were like, you should probably just take some steroids, like cortisone, for it. So I went home, I did that, and like 2 days later, I had to go to the emergency room again, and they admitted me to the hospital, and I was there for like a week, I think. Well, maybe 3 days, and then like 2 weeks later, I had to go again, and because I had like just so massive amount of pains, and at that time, I basically refused to do a colonoscopy, which I should have done, where to take like a camera on a stick and they shove it up your ass. And I've done 2 of those when I was under anesthesia, like you were sleeping, and I've done 2 of them awake. Which is one of them I got propofol, which is like a thing they put in your arm, like in your blood veins, and you get like blacked out. You don't remember anything. But the second time, I remember coming into the you gotta remember, before this, you have literally just pooped for an entire day to clear the contents out of your stomach. So you bring home some shit that you get to drink, and it tastes like salt water, and it's awful. It's so awful, and you're like depleted of all your electrolytes and your energy and everything. And I come in to the undersökningsrum, what the heck is that? Like the examination room, and there's like the doctor who he's just like super handsome, of course he is, and there's like nurses, of course the nurses are super hot as well, and he's like, I was like, oh, hook me up, where's the I need the intravenous like propofol, I need to get blacked out, I don't want to remember shit. And he's like, we stopped doing that, you only get nitrous oxide now, which is lustgas, which is like you breathe it, and you can't breathe enough nitrous oxide so you black out, because you get so like high basically that you just drop it. So I was like hyperventilating into this nitrous oxide while they were like trying to, and I was not enjoying it. So it was basically what happened there was I got a trauma from being in this examination room, like being, they're trying to do something that I definitely didn't want. I didn't want them to do this examination of my colon. So when I was having the pain, like 3 years later, I refused to basically do anything, and I was just gonna ignore it. And it worked out for like 2 years until I started to feel the pain again, because your disease comes in, like it comes and goes basically. And I think it was in April 2013, that's last year, I started to feel the pain again, and I think on like a Friday night I had some white wine, which is like my Achilles heel. I can't drink white wine because it just messes up my stomach. And on the evening, I had 1 glass, and on the evening I was sitting in my apartment, I was like, shit, here it comes basically, and like my body was just like twisting. It was literally hurting so bad that I thought I was going to, when something hurts this bad, you basically just start to like zone out. You start to rock, you like back and forth just to keep your mind occupied with something else. And I was like, at that point I was like, shit. I called Pabby, and I was like, bro, I gotta go to the emergency room, because you don't go because it's just retarded. So I went there, and a couple of my other friends came, and you're like, these are like real people that literally for a full weekend just stayed with me, because I was having such pain. And I went into this, the examination room, and they gave me morphine and everything, and I respond really bad to morphine. I mean, I don't respond at all, is basically what it is. They have to give me like super much, and some of them, they were like, oh, you're trying to score this pain medication. I was like, yes, of course, that's why I'm like, can't basically breathe because it's hurting so bad. So they did like some x-rays, they did, kind of a bunch of them, like, it just sucked ass, lying there having pain. And then they saw on the x-rays, they were like, all right, so it's basically full stop here in your colon on my left side. And I was like, all right, how do you fix it? Can you give me some steroids? I can go home and keep ignoring this shit. And they were like, no, we can't give you that because we think we might have to do an emergency surgery and give you a stoma. And I was like, fuck you guys. Because that is, I know that it could be a possibility, and I was just like, no, that's not gonna happen. And then after a while, I realized after talking to like a male nurse there, that was just like, he was really good at just understanding what I was going through, basically. And I was like, all right, so if I don't get the stoma, I'll probably die. I might die. My colon could burst, and it could be like poop and bacteria in my stomach, and it can be really dangerous. So I had to get a stoma, and I remember, waking up after the surgery, and I was like, what the fuck is this? I literally have a bag, and I have colon outside on my body. I walked, I was gonna get up, and I was trying to pee, and this was like on a Monday, I think it was, yeah. They wanted to that I should pee, because I barely had any water or anything, and with the morphine it's hard to pee. And I remember, getting up, and I could barely walk, and I had a stoma, and I've never felt so. That's without a doubt the worst I've ever felt in my life. I felt demasculined. I felt like, that I could never get as low as this. I was like, and I couldn't even pee. And of course, you get like a tube in your penis, so you can pee from your urethra, directly. And of course, the hottest nurse had to do, the shoving off the tube in the penis thingy. And I think at that point, it's just everything. It just kind of like collapsed. I was like, there's just been everything that's been building up for the last couple of years of ignoring, maybe having Crohn's and everything, it just like collapsed. There was nothing holding it back. I was just like sitting there and crying with a stoma on my stomach, and I was looking like absolute shit, and I was so sad. And I thought I was gonna die alone. I was never, gonna get to be shirtless. I'm never gonna be able to make YouTube videos. I was never gonna be able to work out, everything. I was certain that everyone in the world was gonna think I was disgusting. And if you ever thought anywhere near that, I freaking hope that you get back up, because it's not very fun. Anyway, so I started talking directly at the hospital, because I was at the hospital for 11 days. I started talking to kurator, as it's called in Swedish. It's basically like a therapist for institutions, I guess, and talking about everything. And I haven't figured out all these things that I'm saying to you guys by myself. It's been a lot with her, and if I hadn't talked to her, I probably wouldn't be sitting here. I'll probably just have given up. I would probably, because I was so low. Like, I was certain, tejbz as a soccer, the first season had just come out, and I was just like, oh, that was fun. At least I got to do a TV show before I become eremit krabba and just lock myself in the basement and become like this weird guy. And let's get to some fucking positive things. Alright, so I had the stoma. You poop out of a bag, and it was real. It is not fun. It's just, you just feel so dirty every single time. I came home from the hospital, and trying to do that by yourself, you're switching, you're like changing bags, and you're like pooping, and you fart and it sounds, and you think everybody can hear it, and like you're farting on your stomach, but after a while, I got used to that. But I think it was maybe I probably hadn't been with a girl for like a month before the surgery, and then it took me 5 months to even consider being like, oh yeah. So, but after a while, I even became like comfortable around girls and being like out on clubs. And even though I have a different way of looking at drinking, I have a different way of looking at my body now, because when you're out drinking and the day after you go to the bathroom, you're like, oh man, I feel like shit, my stomach feel like shit. Imagine you having to watch your stomach look bad, because you have it outside on your like stomach, and you remove it, at least like it was swollen and everything. So it's really changed my perception of what really goes on when you're not treating your body well. And I'm not saying that I'm gonna stop drinking, which I haven't, and I'm not saying that I'm never gonna have unhealthy food, which I am. Definitely, I love unhealthy food. I love partying, but this. I never want to get a stoma again, and if I get one, I would rather it being, alright, the fucking universe or Crohn's actually happen. But if I don't treat my body as good as I can and as I want to, I will never be able to forgive myself again. But if you're in the position, I got some tweets from people that stoma is not the end. Like, that's what I thought. And just talk to somebody, and you will realize that there's so much more to life than just having not a stoma, because there's always so many things that you can do. And I bet you that just by talking to somebody that actually knows what they're saying. I never wanted to talk to any like therapist when I was like a kid. When I was 14, I was like, fuck you guys, I'm gonna go play video games now. But now I'm like, you need to talk to somebody. And having a stoma is definitely not the end. It sucks ass, but if it makes you survive, if it makes you healthier, it is so worth it. And now I was real worried that I was never gonna get rid of my stoma. So it took 7 months having walking around with this thing, and the last 3 months I was not even caring. If I saw a girl that I really like, and I saw a few of them, I was like, I have a stoma. And they were like, what is that? I'm like, I poop on the outside of my body. And they go, oh, okay. They don't react like, oh my god, it's so disgusting. But if they would have reacted like that, you can tell that girl to piss off, because she's obviously not a very good person. Because you turn it around, if you meet like a girl, or you're a girl and you meet a guy that has a stoma, and you're like disgusted by them having that, then obviously you have some issues yourself, or maybe you just are really, really, really disgusted by, I don't know, poop or something. Some people are. But where was I? This is like, I've been talking for 20 minutes. Holy shit, snag. Anyway, so November 28th, you know, I got like the November 28th, I got the date for my surgery where they were gonna remove the part of my colon that was like sad. I was like scarred tissue and everything, and they were gonna put down my stoma. But I didn't believe. I was never ever gonna trust these fucking, excuse my language, these doctors, because I still don't do really. They have to do a lot of making up before I will actually trust any doctors again. Just from that couple of experiences with them. So I remember, you know, I was pretty worried. It's kind of crazy, but I was really worried that it was just gonna like, haha, no, we removed everything except your stoma, or like. So I came to the hospital and my dad was here, and you know, there was so many like of my friends and people came to the hospital as well. It's just like, people are amazing, and I was there, and you know, and the surgery went well, and now I have a badass scar, and I feel a lot better than I probably felt in a long time. And I'm not saying that just because I've gotten rid of the stoma. It's probably because I've gotten to know myself, and I got a few like really good life lessons out of this. They might have been really expensive, and I wish, you know, obviously I wish I don't have Crohn's and I don't have to have a stoma, but I feel like I'm a pretty wise person at this moment. And even though, you know, I was thinking that while having a stoma in the beginning, at least, I was like, when I get rid of my stoma, I'm not gonna have a care in the world. But that never happens. You will always have problems. And I mean, right now I was like, you know, there's this girl that I like, and there's this girl that I like, and it's like complicated, but that is a problem. It's so weird because that is a problem that you can like try to do something about, but having like a stoma, you only have to rely on other people. But I'm like so excited about just trying to be very positive, and I want to help you guys out. If you have any like, especially, I mean, obviously feelings problems are always feelings problem. I can't help you with that. I'm not very good at them, obviously, but having like a stoma and having Crohn's or having something like similar to it, I mean, you don't have to have Crohn's or a stoma to feel like you're different or feel like you're not as interesting as you can be, or whatever, as you feel unattractive to the rest of the world. I think that we should also, I think we like, if you ever feel like, just tweet me. I'll definitely like I try to, because I know what it's like having Crohn's and everything. I really try to see what you guys are saying to me. Wow, 20 minutes. I only cried once. I was worried that I was going to do it a lot more. 23 minutes long. Thanks for watching. And just stay healthy, I guess. Cool.